If there are times that you can't help someone, even if you want to, then don't. Hello guys, and welcome again to MKM Online, your place for English and life skills, tips and tricks. For today's episode, we are going to do life skills. Life skills or lesson in life that I've learned from my Mamasue, episode 3. Now I know, I promised episode 3 will be discussed with my wife, or by my wife, a lesson about great partnership, which we also learned from my Mamasue during our wedding. However, she has been very busy with school right now, so I guess we are going to do that video on Saturday or tomorrow. It's a holiday, so I promise we will do that. But for now, I am going to give you another 3 life lessons that we learned from my Mamasue. Here they are. Number 1. It is not true that a tree with a rotten root will always bear a rotten fruit. Again, it is not true that a tree with a rotten root will always bear a rotten fruit. It does not mean that this is your past, this will also be your future. But it is not true that when you come from a very chaotic and violent background, you would also be the same. No, it totally depends on which ground you are planted now. It totally depends on the fertilizers, the care, and the love given to you so that you can grow to be a very good fruit-bearing tree. It's not because you have, for example, I have a friend who's afraid to commit because she is a product of a broken family. So she's afraid that maybe in the future she would also have a broken family. No. Your past would not be 100% definition of what's going to be your future. Because along the way, there will be care, there will be fertilizers, there will be love that will be given to you along the journey. And you will grow slowly to become a better tree than you were, than your root. Okay? Let's say that your root is very rotten or where you're from. Okay? It doesn't matter now. We have a lot of influences from the outside world. And we have a lot of people from around you that could take care of that root so that you can slowly grow to be a healthy fruit-bearing tree. So don't be afraid, because your past will not define your future. Okay? Never believe in that. You have a gambler father, you will be a gambler in the future. You have a very strict and violent mother, you will also be like that. No. It totally depends on where you are grounded and where you are planted and how you are taken care of by the people around you, maybe not even your family. Okay? So you have a chance. Don't worry about it. It's not because you are part of a broken family, then you cannot have a healthy, loving family and united family in the future. No. You always have a chance because of your journey. That's what's defining you now, not your root, but your journey as you grow. Okay, that's a very important life lesson that I learned from my mom. All right, now let's go to lesson number 5. You never give up on family, even when they do. This is a very famous phrase from Dominic Toretto in Fast and the Furious, right? However, I've learned this, the reality of this, not in the movie, but the reality of this from my mom. Okay, I mentioned before I went astray and did something very bad that I regretted in my life. And when I went home and asked for her forgiveness and really, I was so shy, I was so ashamed, so embarrassed. But she said, "I don't care what you did, son. I do not really care what you did or what you have done. It doesn't matter to me. So that's how it is. Like, because for her, no matter what you do or what you have done, you should always be allowed to run home and surrender. You should always have a place at home. There should be no condemnation at home. There should only be love and respect and acceptance. Because that's where you can find your strength again. And that for me is the most important lesson that I learned from my mom. Okay? That family is, or the family should be your shock absorber. It should be a place where no matter how filthy or dirty you are, there's no condemnation in the family. You should always be accepted and welcome, so that you would not run astray. You would always go right straight home if you have done something wrong, because you know that at home you will be welcome. Okay, that's very important. And there's nothing worse that you can do that my mother cannot forgive. She will always forgive you because you're family. Even if you forgive, even if you give up on yourself, she would be always there to forgive you. And that's a very important lesson in life that I have learned. That when it's family, don't even measure. Don't even have a yardstick of hanggang dito ka lang or until here. And then if you do this, I will not forgive you. No. There should be no yardstick on what you can and what you cannot do when it's family. You should always be open that you should always recognize rather that although goodness can do a lot of many things, you should not also deny that evil can also make the worst evil. And that recognition would always make you ready for what might happen to some of your family members. And you should always be there to welcome them with open arms when they come and realize their fault and ask for forgiveness, ask to be welcomed to be part of the family again. Okay? That's deep. But that's it. And now for the third and final lesson, or should I say lesson number 6. This is the third lesson covered for this particular episode. If there are times that you can't help someone, even if you want to, then don't. Again, if there are times that you can't help someone, even if you want to, then don't. You can't extend help when you haven't got the luxury and the extensions. You should not do sacrifices, according to my mother. You should not do sacrifices that would ease others' struggles, which will eventually make you suffer in the end. If you cannot help somebody, that means that you are not the one anointed or chosen to help that person in that particular moment in time. So never try so hard or never beat up yourself of not being able to help someone when you cannot do it, even if you have to, because that means that you were not the one anointed during that time. Maybe some others are entitled or were anointed, were chosen to be the helper during that particular time. So if you can do so much, or if you can only do so much, be honest with yourself and tell your friend, I can only do so much. Okay? Don't beat yourself for not being able to help because you cannot. So then don't help. Send them to somebody else or help them to find other persons. You should not sacrifice also yourself easing and uplifting others' burdens. And at the end of the day, you will be burdened yourself. Okay? So if you don't have the capacity to, if you don't have the luxury to, and if you don't have the freedom to, don't extend any assistance to that particular person, because you are not the one entitled or anointed to do that. Other people are entitled to do that. Okay? But when you can and you have the luxury and the things to do it, then extend your help. Be generous. My mom would even say, give until it hurts. Even the most precious things that you have, if you can give it, then that's the true measure of generosity and giving. Okay? But if you cannot at the moment, then don't try so hard to be the hero of everybody. Okay? So that's a good lesson also that I've learned from my mom. I hope you've learned something today, and remember, before we go, I would just like to let you know that we should never neglect these words that are coming out of our parents' mouth, because everything that they say or do is only for the best of you. We may be hurt by them, it may sting, and some of the wounds that it caused may take a little while to heal, but believe me, our parents' words are double-edged. If we are hurt, then all the more they are too. It's a double-edged sword. When you are hurt by your parents' words, he or they are also hurt or in pain, knowing that you are hurting, that they are saying that to you. I hope that makes sense. Because when they know that you are hurting or that you are hurt by the words they say, I know deep inside them, they are also hurt. Because every word they say is a double-edged sword. If you are hurt, then more so them. Okay? But believe me, it will take a while to heal, but believe me, they are just like water on plants. It will help you grow. Imagine a plant being pruned, being cut, being wired, trimmed. It's a painful process. That is also what's happening to you when your mother is trying to discipline you. You are being pruned, being cut, being wired, and twist to different directions. And it's a painful process, because that's pruning. Pruning is a painful process. But in the end, you will grow to be a better person, and you may not be able to believe what you might have become or what you will become in the future. Okay? I hope you learned something today. This took a while. I did not imagine to be this long, but I hope it's worth it, and I'll see you again on our next video. That's it for now. Bye-bye.